Friends, welcome to Biology Made Easy. Today we are starting a new chapter, that is the biodiversity. And this is one of the very important chapters in the environmental concerns. So we should have a very clear understanding what is biodiversity, why it is lost, and how it can be conserved. So biodiversity, the term is derived from two words, biological and diversity. So from the biological, that is bio means life, and diversity means forms. That means different life forms. Together the two terms join together, from biological bio and diversity, and it is known as biodiversity. And the term biodiversity was coined by W.G. Russell. The term coined by him, but the term was popularized by Edward Wilson. So, in biodiversity, what we'll discuss? Biodiversity includes all levels of a biological organization, starting from macromolecules to biomes. Starting from macromolecules to biomes. That means in between macromolecule will give rise to cell, cell will give rise to tissue, tissue system, organ, then individual, population, all these are in between. So all these are coming under biological organizations. But it is biological organizations, from the different levels of biological organization, if you analyze them, and if you tell a common man that in this earth there are 20,000 species of ants are there, will the common man believe? No. There are 28,000 species of fishes. Nobody will believe. There are 3 lakhs species of beetles, and there are again 20,000 species of orchids. So it becomes very difficult to believe unless one is a biologist or ecologist or environmentalist. But though the common man can believe that actually such a large number of species are there, but the ecologist and the biologist, they have tried to understand what is the reason behind this biological diversity and where this diversity occurs. They have studied it. So they have studied at different levels of a biological organization, which we will discuss now. That is the levels of biodiversity. So we'll discuss the levels of a biodiversity. So the first biodiversity has been divided into 3 important ones, and which are interrelated and also hierarchical. That means the levels, they are interrelated and they are also hierarchical. That means one above another. So what are these 3 levels of diversity? One is genetic diversity, the other is species diversity, and third one is ecological or community diversity. Let us discuss one by one. So first one is genetic diversity. So what is the meaning of genetic diversity? Genetic diversity means what is the number of genes, what are the different types of genes, what are the different alleles that are present in the same species. That means the number, the type of genes, and their alleles in the same species. That means in the same species, what is the number of genes? What are the different types of genes and their alleles? Because the number and the type of gene, they changes due to different mutations. So it always varies from from one type to another type. That is why, due to this genetic diversity, due to this genetic variation, usually a species gives rise to subspecies. It gives rise to subspecies, varieties, races, strains, morphotypes, and also it gives rise to different types of ecotypes. Now, if we'll give some examples of this genetic diversity, then we can take the case of the medicinal plant, that is Raulfia vomitoria. It is also known as Raulfia serpentina. Now, usually this Raulfia vomitoria, it is a medicinal plant that grows in different ranges of Himalayas. And from this plant, the medicinal compound, that is reserpine, is obtained. But the potency and concentration of this reserpine, it varies from plant to plant that are collected from different parts of the Himalayan ranges. Why? It is because of genetic diversity. If we'll give another example, in India, there are usually 50,000 strains of rice and 1,000 varieties of mango. So mango has one species, Magnifera indica, but how the taste, the size, color, everything varies from mango to mango, because it has different varieties, and that is due to the difference in the genetics, that is genetical diversity. Similarly, rice, it is Oryza sativa, but how the different strains, 50,000 strains are coming? It is because of the diversity in genetics. So the genetic diversity means the change in the number, type of genes or their alleles, and it includes the same species. Now come to the second one. The second one is the species diversity. And the species diversity, it deals with at the species level. So when it deals with the species level, again we'll find that the type and a number of amphibians found in Western Ghats are quite diverse in comparison to Eastern Ghats. This deals at the species level. You see, this is at the same species, but it deals at the species level. And if you take some examples, the first example you can take that of the amphibians. Amphibians have greater diversity in Western Ghats than Eastern Ghats. So this is come one example, because the species there are more number of species in the Western Ghats than the Eastern Ghats. Now we will take a second example. You can take that from the plant. From the plant you can take example Solanum tuberosum. So this is potato. while Solanum melongana, it is brinjal, and Solanum lycopersicum, this is tomato. That means the potato, tomato and brinjal, all of them belong to this one species, that is Solanum, but they differ at this species level. Similarly, if you take a third example is from the big cats. So in case of big cats, if you take that up for tiger is that is Panthera tigris, and the lion is Panthera leo, while snow leopard is Panthera uncia. But you see, tiger, lion and snow leopard, they are three different species, but all of them have the same genus Panthera. So this is also an example of that is species diversity. That means one species differs from another. So these are some of the examples. Now again, this species diversity has three qualities. There are three qualities. So what are the three qualities? Now one is that is species richness. Species richness. Now what is the meaning of this species richness? That means what is the total number of species in a particular area. Species richness means total number of species per unit area. This is a species richness. Then the second one is species evenness. So what is the meaning of species evenness? It means a relative abundance of each species. Relative abundance of each species in the area. That means in the area, whatever the number different types of species are there, what is their relative abundance. And the third category is species dominance. Species dominance, and it is the most abundant species in that area. Most abundant species in the area. That means the species diversity has three different qualities. One may be species richness, which is the total number of species in the particular area. Species evenness means the relative abundance between the different species, and species dominance means which species is more dominant in that area. And these are the different types of examples. So one is genetic diversity, the second is species diversity. Now the third one is ecological or community diversity. So I am writing here. So this ecological or community diversity, it depends upon the type of ecosystems or the habitats where the organism grow. The third one is ecological or community diversity. Now this ecological or community diversity, it depends upon in what type of habitat, in what type of ecosystem the organism survive. It may be terrestrial, it may be aquatic. So depending upon the type of ecosystems, and now it may be a forest, it may be desert, maybe grassland, maybe a pond, maybe lake, it may be mangroves, maybe coral reef, or it may be estuaries, or it may be wetlands. That means these are the different types of ecosystem, and depending on what type of ecosystem the organism lives, it depends upon the diversity of the organism. This is also coming under biological diversity. And India has a lot of these ecosystems. All these ecosystems are found in India. That is why the biological diversity is much more than the Scandinavian Norway. That means if you take that the case of Norway, there you will find a less amount of biological diversity, where in India you will find a greater number of biological diversity. It is because of the different types of ecosystems that are present. Now this ecological community diversity is again divided into three types according to Whitaker. So according to Whitaker, it is again divided into three types. The ecological diversity has again three types. So what are the three types? Now one is alpha diversity, and the others are beta and gamma. We will discuss one by one. Alpha diversity. So what is this alpha diversity? Now alpha diversity means the species diversity at the community level. The alpha diversity means the diversity at the community level. That means by simply counting the number of the types or the number of species that are present in a community, we can know what is alpha diversity. That means how many types of species are there. By diversity, it means a diversity at a community level. That means in a particular community, because when several species are present together, that is known as community. So by simply counting the number, we can tell that is what is the alpha diversity. Now the second one is beta. We can also write like this: beta diversity. So this is the ecological diversity for or between ecological diversity between two or more communities. That means alpha diversity is the diversity at community level. But when a differ will compare between different community levels, that is known as beta diversity. Then the third one is gamma. We can write also gamma diversity, and this one also we can write alpha diversity. So what is gamma diversity? Gamma diversity means suppose there is a big geographical area, and in a big geographical area, then again there are small regions. So this is known as gamma diversity. And the gamma diversity means regional diversities within a big geographical area. And we can also tell that this gamma diversity is equal to alpha diversity into beta diversity, because alpha and beta deal with these two things, and the gamma diversity means the regional diversity among a big geographical area. So it is the multiplication of the two. Now these are the three main types by Whitaker. But there is also a fourth type, and the fourth type we can tell that is delta delta diversity. So delta diversity means the change in the composition and abundance of different the change in the composition and dominance of within this gamma diversity. I am writing it here. The change in composition and abundance between the area of gamma diversity. Now that is the gamma diversity with the regional diversity among a big area. Now in that gamma diversity, again if there is change in the composition and abundance in that gamma diversity, that is also known as delta diversity. So these are the different types of ecological, there are the different levels of biological diversity. One is genetic, the other is species diversity, and the third one is ecological diversity. Now, after discussing all these things, another question comes to mind. How many types of species are there in Earth and how many of them are present in India? That